Alright. Alright. So we're gonna do an update here. Do an update. A lot of people think I'm dead. D-E-D dead. Or in jail. J-E-I-L. Far from either. A lot of people aren't interested in this. They want to go out and vote. It's the most important election ever. None of that shit matters, and I've proven it. I've proven it. Right here. Proven everything I do. So people have to pay attention. I went out and I filed this today. I haven't heard from my lawyer since the 20th. My 12th lawyer. So I hadn't filed this today. It took me a couple days to do it. Run it around. There's the case. I can show you the other cases too. I'd be able to log in there now. And I said, look at all these lawyers: Abigail Croft, Bruce Bartlett, Sarah Mole, Pamber Smatwell, Christopher George DeLafter, Cynthia Lakeman, Daniel Hernandez, Jacinia Rosales, Todd Pollard, Jonathan Hackworth, Marie Louise Mabry, Michael Adrian Ukrin, Scott Tremblay, Serbo Simeone, and me. But there's more than that. They just delete shit. Stuff. What is this crap? Click out now if you don't understand how this place actually works. And there's a lot of things I probably want to say that I won't say. I filed this today. And don't worry, my lawyer won't adopt it. I don't have a bar card. This ain't gonna work. It's downloads pending. Just keep pending. Pending. Let me pause this for a second. Alright, it wouldn't download. They probably already deleted it. But who would win? Who would win in a fight between me and these courts? I've already proven the civil cases. The Uniform Trust Code that's been adopted, and I'm pretty sure 39 states, including Florida, they don't care about it. Florida Constitution, they don't care about it. U.S. Constitution, they don't care about it. Look what I did here. Just look what I did. They're not going to care about this. So I'm going to file this 808. The 808 freaking kick drum makes the girls get dumb. There you go. I'm not like Pamber. I actually addressed this to the fucking Pasco County. When she was addressing stuff, she was so high and so drunk and so mentally unfit that she's addressing stuff to Pinellas. Comes now. I should have spelled it a different way. Defendant Tasha B. Teeling and moves this court to dismiss the charges against her with prejudice. They dismissed my charges against my mother with prejudice. My trustee, on the grounds of insufficient evidence, wrongful arrest, systemic targeting, and egregious violations of our constitutional rights. This motion is also based on a pattern of harassment and deprivations of rights under color of law of the Pasco County Sheriff's Office, violating its U.S. Code, Title 42. Title 42. Section 1983, I think it's subsection 241 and 242. And they should know this. They know this. They don't know. Are they going to care about it? No. Just like they don't care about the Constitution. It's 39 signatories that got off a boat and signed on your behalf and said you're somehow subject to this. And it doesn't protect you. It's clear. It's absolutely clear. In support of this motion, the defendant provides the following background. Instant overview. Concerns overdue. In 3922, the defendant was wrongfully arrested by deputies of the Pasco County Sheriff's Office following an incident involving her son's girlfriend, and son's mother. Despite being the clear victim of an assault, the defendant was arrested without probable cause. The defendant has been subject to repeated violent attacks by her son, with one being documented in 2017 where what's-his-face was placed in a pretrial diversionary program for violently assaulting and battering the defendant. And I'm going to say this is all public information. It's right here. It's filed, public information. It's not subject to any copyright, privacy, anything like that. They won't redact it. Or they redact nothing. It's placed in a pretrial diversionary program for violently assaulting and battering the defendant. And I brought that up to all these attorneys. They don't care. Oh, it's not valid. Doesn't matter. This kid punches me in the face all the time. This professionally trained, freaking violent weapon of a kid. That's an adult. In the prime of his life, can beat up a freaking disabled trans person. It's a hate crime. Upon her arrest, the defendant sustained injuries, including a human bite mark on her right upper arm and extensive bruising on her knees. See Exhibit A. All these attorneys have known about it since Serbo. Serbo lied to me. He told me he shredded the documents. I told him I signed a medical release form, and he got mad at me. He tried to play his little freaking games. The one that's married to the judge there. I made the paper for prescribing Xanax from the bench. But yeah, they've all known about this. You can, I have it on tape. And I have written evidence that the stripper lawyer, she said I have evidence, but I'm not willing to give it up. And I've said it over and over again. And it's in here, and they'll probably ignore it. I'm sure they'll ignore it. So yeah, upon arrest, the defendant sustained injuries, including a human bite mark to her right upper arm and extensive bruising on her knees. See Exhibit A. Consistent with being violently thrown to the ground, dragged by her feet, bitten. Despite this, the defendant was treated as the aggressor and subject to unlawful detention, dehumanization, kidnapping, and false imprisonment. Medical evidence. Once again, Exhibit A, specifically the intake report from Pasco County Jail, clearly document the defendant's injuries, which includes bruising and bite marks, corroborating her claim of being attacked. The extent of these injuries is entirely inconsistent with her being the aggressor, further undermining the legitimacy of her arrest. Witness testimony. Body-worn camera footage from the scene captures multiple witnesses, which were attackers, including a semi-uninvolved bystander, confirming the defendant did not engage in any physical altercation. The footage also records statements by deputies on the scene, and there were 6 of them. It made the defendant did not attempt to get physical with anyone, yet they proceeded to arrest her while her attackers remained free. Pattern of targeting and harassment. The defendant has been the subject of repeated harassment at the Pasco Sheriff's Office over the course of several years. This has escalated into what appears to be a deliberate campaign of intimidation and legal harassment. The Sheriff's Office has been widely criticized for its aggressive and unlawful policing strategies, as documented by investigated by the Tampa Bay Times, which I was interviewed by in 2019 for the articles, at Starbucks with, what was her name? Kat McGrory, and her photographer Neil, and other national news outlets. These reports reveal that the Sheriff's Office has a history of retaliatory arrests, surveillance, harassment of individuals who have been targeted under their predictive policing program. And it's true, and these courts are backing them up. They did it when they gave me the mailbox ticket. That's gone. It's off the record. These courts back up. They participate in the targeting. These people say, oh, there's not targeted individuals. There's no targeted individuals. I was interviewed for a series of articles that won the Pulitzer Prize that was titled Targeted. It's national news. There's not hardly anybody that doesn't live under a rock that ain't freaking a one brain-celled organism doesn't know what these people do. These people being the Pasco Sheriff's Office, Chris kook-sucking knocko. The defendant is but one of many victims is unconstitutional targeting. which often leads to arrest without probable cause, excessive use of force, and other deprivation of civil liberties, including those guaranteed on the 4th and 5th and 14th Amendment. I have extensive evidence to prove this as well. Legal basis. Insufficient evidence. The charges against the defendant lack any credible evidence to support the assertion that she was the perpetrator of the assault. The only party with documented injuries is the defendant herself, and no physical evidence suggests that she engaged in any criminal behavior. Under the principle established in Jackson v. Virginia, the evidence must be sufficient for a rational peer, or for a rational trier, of fact, to find the defendant guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. In this case, not only the evidence insufficient, but it overwhelmingly supports the defendant's account that she was the victim, not the aggressor. But it's not about justice. It's not about evidence. They will ignore this. They will flat ignore this. They've been doing it forever, and they're just running out the clock, ignoring evidence. Like they said, like in my civil trial, they said Patrick AI, my trustee, presented evidence, but it's not on the record. I'm putting the stuff on the record. And watch what happens after this. If they ignore this, I know they'll ignore it. But I just want everyone else to see, like I'm the guinea pig that survived this long in what they do. So where do we go here? All right, so Jackson v. Virginia, wrongful arrest. The wrongful arrest of the defendant constitutes a clear violation of Fourth Amendment right to be free from unreasonable searches and seizures. And I've cited all this stuff and the ADA and everything else. They don't care about the ADA. They don't care about the Constitution. They don't care about trust code. They don't care about U.S. code. Nothing. They care about nothing. It doesn't matter. Once you're on their hit list, you're screwed. And they just keep railroading you. So yeah, the wrongful arrest of the defendant constitutes a clear violation of Fourth Amendment right to be free from unreasonable searches and seizures. The arresting deputies' own admissions on the body-worn camera footage confirm that there was no lawful basis for the defendant's detention. Deputies failed to establish probable cause before arresting her, which is a foundational requirement of Florida law, as established in Thompson v. Clark. Individuals have a right to seek redress for wrongful arrest and may bring civil rights against officers involved in fabricating or misrepresenting facts leading to an arrest. And they'll harp on their qualified immunity and absolute immunity. These fucking people, my trustee, calling the cops all the time to try to get me deemed mentally unfit. I've written this stuff for 10 years now. It just goes ignored. It takes a lot to string this stuff together, and all the research, and it'll be ignored. But this is on the record now, like I've shown it. We're at 3, like e-filed right there, right here, right up here, e-filed. But they had no problem deleting the docket and just messing with it and putting unknown heirs on to steal all the equity, everything I've ever worked for. It's modern day slavery. So yeah, deprivation of rights under color of law. Title 42 U.S. Code 1983, I think it's subsection 241, 242. They care about this? Nope. Not a constitutional court, not a court of law, not a court of record, not a court of general jurisdiction. It's not a court of anything. It's fake as hell. The hell's real. So the most egregious violation in this case is a continuous deprivation of the defendant's constitutional rights. You don't have those. You think you do, but when you're targeted, they all go out the window. Under 42 U.S. Code 1983, which allows individuals to sue for violations of constitutional rights by persons acting under color of law, the Pasco Sheriff's Office, in this case, engaged in multiple civil rights violations, including but not limited to kidnapping and false imprisonment. The arrest and detention of the defendant without probable cause or lawful justification amounts to false imprisonment. This is compounded by the long-standing history of the Sheriff's Office targeting the defendant, creating a pattern of behavior that effectively amounts to kidnapping under the guise of lawful authority. The deputies involved acted under color of law to deprive the defendant of her liberty, a direct violation of 14th Amendment. It's like life, liberty, in the pursuit of being pursued by police all the time. This place is gone, finished, over, done. It's held together by bubblegum and dreams, and people thinking that voting is going to change this. You can look at any of the stuff I've written prior to this, or my civil cases, all based in law, all freaking tons of time put into it, thought out, planned, researched, put together. They don't give a shit about that. Not a thing. We're going to beat your skull into the ground. We're going to get blood out of you. We're going to put you in prison. Malicious prosecution. And this applies to the prosecutor too. Todd Pollard and this gray guy who's been on the bench. He's been my personal judge for 10 years. He's recused himself, taken several cases, found me guilty, granted me things way a long time ago. In other cases, he's clearly prejudiced. I have him on video. Demonstrating and vocalizing, verbalizing his bias towards me. Say, malicious prosecution. The sheriff's office is engaged in a pattern of malicious prosecution by continuing to press charges against the defendant despite the lack of evidence and overwhelming proof that she was the victim in this incident. And this happened in 2015. My mother kept showing up for court. They arrested me in the park for walking my dog and charged me with a statute that was repealed in 1981 or 1982 for being unconstitutional, violating the two-subject provision in log rolling. And I found out Bennell versus State had it overturned. They still charged me with it, and they just turned it to 888.888. Wasted everyone's time, brought in a jury, wasted all these people's time, and then dismissed it. And dismissed a jury. And that's not counting all the times my mother called, my trustee called. So this person's crazy. They're crazy because they're going to get their trust fund. So we need to put them in jail or a mental institution. It's sick. So yeah, malicious prosecution under subsection 1983 requires that the prosecution be conducted without probable cause and with malice, which evident in the targeting practice of the sheriff's office has described in numerous lawsuits and investigations. I'd be surprised if you made it this far because people don't want to know about this stuff. If this helps one or two people, I'll be happy. That's it. But the rest of you keep on voting, keep on freaking turning a blind eye, or just going with who you like or who you don't like. You got a person being targeted right here, and it's happening to other people. An injustice to one is an injustice to all. Like me or not. So, systemic targeting and intimidation. The targeted defendant by the sheriff's office is part of a broader pattern of unconstitutional harassment. Investigative reports have shown that the Pasco County Sheriff's Office operates a predictive policing program. They deny that now. They said it hasn't. It's been gone away with. But the paper and judges still say it happens. The judges, who gives a shit about them? The ball fiddlers and black necromancy robes. But it hasn't gone away. Investigative reports have shown that Pasco Sheriff's Office operates a predictive policing program that identifies and targets individuals based on arbitrary factors, often leading to unlawful arrest and harassment. The practice has been likened to gang stalking, stangawking, has been condemned by civil rights organizations, and good luck getting help from them. They don't give a shit. If you're blacklisted, you're blacklisted, and they're part of it too. Try to find a civil rights lawyer. I had to do all this shit on myself. Thank God. Thank God I got time to do this. I couldn't be doing something else. The Sheriff's Office is currently the subject of several federal lawsuits under racketeer, influence, and corrupt organizations, RICO Act, for engaging in coordinated harassment campaigns. 4. Constitutional violations. 6th Amendment and due process. The defendant's 6th Amendment right to a fair trial has been violated due to continuous failure by consistent legal representation and excessive delays in the trial process. Somebody came in and said, you don't get that in the state. You don't get that. You don't get a jury trial. Well, what about a trial by a jury? These people are just detractors and shit. I got people sticking up for Amber. What about the mistrial that occurred when I got a lawyer with 3 felonies? 3 felonies, including committing perjury. These delays have been caused by not by the defendant, but by the state's repeated failure to adhere to court schedules. They did it in the civil trial too. Provide discovery and adequately pursue the case. It's failure to prosecute. but they just keep prosecuting. This has resulted in violation of the defense right to speedy trials guaranteed by both the U.S. Constitution and the Florida Constitution. And I know all these attorneys that keep freaking getting appointed, even though the last time they wouldn't appoint them for like a month and a half. And they're trying to say I'm incompetent, that all this crap, and they won't give me an attorney. And then start handing out capiases and crap. It's unbelievable. Might not be the best. It's the best in the world. It needs to be all tossed out, redone, or just totally eliminated. And you can look back on the docket, like a month in, I demanded a speedy trial. Here we're 2.5 years later. Hey, we're no closer to, like, 3 years will come up soon if they don't drop it after this. And they won't drop it. Well, it's manifest I'm dropping it, because they know if they drop it, I'm going to sue the shit out of them. And then you got to go through this all again for years and years. Just getting my life wasted on this crap. Additionally, the targeting and harassment by law enforcement have resulted in deprivation of the defense's right to due process. This pattern of malicious behavior of the sheriff's office, coupled with the systemic failure of the judicial system, has denied the defendant a fair opportunity to defend herself. No equal access to the courts, no fair and equal protection of the law, ADA accommodations. Screw you, you disabled piece of crap. So supporting case law: Jackson versus Virginia, Thompson versus Clark, Monroe versus Pape, demand for relief. Wherefore the defendant demands that this court, it's not honorable, it's not a request, it's the demand of the court, dismiss the charge with prejudice. This is I think my fourth demand to dismiss. They've overlooked every single other one. Dismiss with prejudice. They did it for Patty with the screenshot of my community tab. Yep. There we go, we're going to dismiss it. Not this. I found anything civil, throw it right out the window, or not even put in the system. I've proven that too. This criminal shit, we're going to put you in jail no matter what. We're going to investigate you in other states no matter what. We're going to launch all these targeted things and track your cell phone and come and bother your friend's house and shit. Dismiss the charges with prejudice, extreme prejudice. They've been extremely prejudiced against me based on insufficient evidence, wrongful arrest, and systemic targeting. Acknowledge the violations of our constitutional rights on the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendment, as well as 42, U.S. Code Title 42, subsection 1983, and 241, 242. They don't care about any of that. It's not about that. It's a private military tribunal. Something to that effect. Order investigation in the practice of the Pasco County Sheriff's Office, particularly as they pertain to harassment and unlawful targeting of individuals. And they've launched. They have launched investigations. They investigate themselves. They did nothing wrong. They continue to adequately and successfully defend against RICO suits because all these judges are corrupt. So just keep getting away. They're just doing this to people every day, and people give up and they take plea deals, or they just end up dead at the hands of these people. Order investigation of the defendant's attackers and their injuries sustained. I was clearly injured. No one else was. Oh, my kid in jail or any of those other people in jail? I don't know. Grant any additional relief deemed just and appropriate under the circumstances. They don't do just, they don't do appropriate. Conclusion: the defendant suffered from continuous constitutional violations at the hands of the Pasco Sheriff's Office, which has engaged in a campaign of harassment and intimidation upon her. And even where the heck just was I? Whatever town I was just up in North Carolina. They'll send, the Pasco Sheriff sends people. They send people, deputies in other states after their ex-deputies. It's in the lawsuit. It's in the RICO suit. The evidence clearly demonstrates the defendant was a victim in the incident at hand and has been wrongfully prosecuted. The defendant demands his court dismiss the charges with prejudice and take action to prevent further violation of constitutional rights. And here we go right here. It's Exhibit A. I don't know how you put the body cam in here, but I sure know how to attach this. Patient appears with bite mark, right upper extremity, and ecchymotic areas bilateral knees. I had a human bite mark, bruises all over my knees. I also had a handprint on my left upper arm. Was that from my attackers or was from the cop dragged me when they had both Hayden and his mother had both my arms. They're clearly all over me. And the cop grabs me out of the door throws me in cuffs. Did the cop do it? Who did it? We don't know. But I'm clearly effed up. There you go. If you hung in there that long, that's great. 2 people got something out of this. That's great. You gotta constantly, not like Pam or Smatwell, aggressively advocating for you. But she didn't answer the phone. Everyone knows it. She's a 3-time felon now. Not convicted yet, and she's still freaking in good standing. But that's it. Thanks for coming.